This is Paul.
And this is Rabbi Doug.
Stay tuned
for Taped with Rabbi Doug next.
It must be you to help me make it through my days and nights. It must be you to hold me when I need a friend. My definition of heaven on earth might be short, sweet.
Welcome to Taped, and here's Rabbi Doug.
Shalom, everyone. And my guest co-host today on Taped with Rabbi Doug is Mr. Ruby Harris. How you doing, Ruby?
Can't complain.
Good. Nice to have you with us. Ruby Harris of the Ruby Harris Orchestras is a musical virtuoso. He is one of the most talented musicians I know. Plays a number of instruments from mandolin to clarinet to violin to guitar to piano and just about everything in between, harmonica and so on. And Ruby is just into all these different styles of music and different things. And Ruby, I'm so glad to have you with us today. Ruby's in the Chicago area. He plays around with his orchestra all over the place, different types of music, different types of events that he plays at. Ruby, you're originally from New York, isn't that correct?
Yes, born and raised in New York, originally Brooklyn and Queens, and then we moved out to Long Island, Great Neck to be specific.
How did you get into music? What was your start?
Well, my father got me a fiddle when I was about 6 years old, and I was in the school orchestra, and I played classical music and, stuff they taught us. And then when I was a little older, I guess I had to have a guitar like every other kid. And I started playing, Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan on the guitar. And then, rock and roll was the big thing. So I was playing rock and blues and all that. And then I got interested in jazz and bluegrass, things like that. And somehow in the middle of all that, I was hired to play in an Irish pub in a town called Douglaston, which was named after you, by the way, Douglaston. And I learned a ton of Irish music. Uh-huh. And then I actually went over to Europe, spent a nice year studying art and music in Europe. And one of the favorite places I was at was Ireland. In fact, my three favorite places start with an I. Ireland, India, and Israel. Okay. But I happen to have a Irish tune.
I would love to hear it. Did you play when you were in Ireland?
Yeah.
Oh, please, do some Irish music for us.
Here you go. Here's a little jig.
For our Irish listeners. All right. Beautiful. Hope you enjoyed that Irish jig.
That was a jig.
That was
yes.
great. Our viewers, I know, love seeing musicians on our show. I get a lot of email about musicians, and it's great to hear some versatile music. Now, you are playing a lot in the Jewish music scene, playing Jewish weddings and bar mitzvahs and things like that, along with other events and things where you're playing other types of music. How did you get into the Jewish music?
Well, I spent a wonderful year in Europe. And then when I was in Italy, I I was looking around, especially at the art, the Sistine Chapel, the Colosseum, and then I go and see the Moses of Michelangelo, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, Shakespeare was English, and Dante was Italian, and all the great people of France, and history. But I look at Moses and I said, he's one of my boys. He's a Jewish guy, And so I said, well, maybe what I'll do is, go over to Israel. So I spent another 2 months completely nude on an island in Greece. Not really. Not the whole 2 months. But, we're going and swimming, and every day it's great. It was just fantastic. Greece has these islands, and you just eat Greek salad all day and drink ouzo all night and have a good time. But then I flew over to Israel, and I felt really at home. I felt really that this is the ancient homeland of the Jewish people, and it was just so exciting. And I start to travel around, and I see Megiddo, from which Armageddon comes, and I see Nazareth, where Christianity is born, and then I see Bethlehem, where King David is from, and then Jerusalem, which has so much history, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, and then I see the Temple Mount, and that's where the ancient temple was, and the rebirth of modern Israel. And I immediately got involved in Jewish music, from ancient temple music to modern klezmer music, which, even though it's 100 years old, it's still new compared.
Still evolving.
Oh, yeah. And being from New York myself, I remember growing up and seeing all these, at Jewish weddings and in the Catskills, where I still play these days, klezmer music. And I have a nice klezmer tune.
I was just going to ask you, could you do a klezmer tune by yourself on a violin? I would love to hear it. That would be great. What tune is this?
Well, I was going to do Yiddle Mitten Fiddle, which means, a fiddle tune. But this is called Yoshiki. It's a nice, pretty well-known klezmer tune. And it goes like this.
That is wonderful. I actually recognize that too. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. We do that with a full band, full orchestra, by the way.
Maybe we'll have you back with an orchestra. I would love to get some klezmer music on here. Tell me something. You're in the sign making business. That's your other profession is sign making. You do all kinds of signs and all that stuff. Are you an artist also? How did you get into sign making along with, the music scene?
I'm somewhat of a Renaissance person. I've always been an artist, like painting, drawing, and I've always been a musician, violin, guitar. And I never seem to have the ability to stop doing one, but I do have different periods where I do more of one than the other. But I have a full-time job at it's a design, advertising, graphic design, sign studio. We do posters, banners, all kinds.
And you do a lot of the artwork yourself.
I'm pretty much head of the art department. And then we have a production crew, and we have some salespeople, and we have all different
Interesting.
crew.
Multi-talented. And you even do like glass signs, like you see, like these signs in front of restaurants or on window signs and stuff like that. You do all that stuff.
All of it.
That's
Truck
amazing.
lettering,
Amazing.
restaurants, real estate, ambulances, business cards.
Really amazing.
All kinds of graphics.
Amazing.
Posters, banners.
When you're into the arts partly, you're into them completely. That is your life.
That's my day gig. And then at night, and on weekends, I play weddings, I play nightclubs. In fact, every Tuesday night I play blues at the Kingston Mines. And every Thursday night I play at Rose's on Armitage and Kimball.
Well, hopefully our viewers will come in to get out and see you, because I think that there'd be a great opportunity for them to do so. Can you tell me, with your virtuoso music profession and everything you're doing, is there some type of music that you absolutely love the best? Is there one that you're really locked into the most?
Yes. Electric violin, blues, klezmer, Irish music.
Very good. How about if we hear another tune from you, because I just love this. I know you want to pick up your guitar and play also. Can we hear something else for you on violin? Your choice, whatever you think you'd like to do for us.
All right. I play a lot in the Catskills, which is famous for, the hotels, and they have comedians, and they have old-fashioned music and very state-of-the-art modern jazz and top-notch rock and everything. So here's a little tune. The first part of it is was made famous on her latest hit record, which is Sophie Tucker, 1926. That's her latest. and it's called My Yiddish Mama. And then I go into a Freilach, which is a happy dance number.
Great.
And I don't want the cameraman to dance because you'll knock over the camera, okay? But that's okay.
All right. Stand still, Ricky. All right. There we go. Take it away, Ruby.
Don't start crying.
was beautiful. That was great, Ruby.
Thank you, Ruby.
And speaking of Lucy, one of my favorite TV themes. Could you do
I
it?
do my classical
Please do. I just love this. Thank you very much. That was great. Ruby, you are just a fantastic musician. I can't tell you how much I enjoy listening to you. And I know that if anybody is interested in the sign making business, if anybody's interested in having you play for them, they could reach you at what phone number? You brought your guitar with you. I'd love to hear some guitar while we're here. I know one of the things you haven't done for us is anything bluesy, and if you could, we'd love to hear some music. Can you tell us what you have playing for us on guitar today?
All right. Well, here's a little tune that I kind of like the words and the music. So I'm going to play it for you, called Hard-Headed Woman. I'm just learning it, so bear with me. Oh, well, a hard-headed woman and a soft-hearted man. Been the cause of trouble ever since the world began, oh yeah. Ever since the world began. A hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. Oh yes, Eve. Adam told Eve, listen here to me. Don't you let me catch you messing around that apple tree, oh yeah. Ever since the world began. A hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. Samson told Delilah, loud and clear, keep your cotton-picking fingers out of my curly hair, oh yeah. Ever since the world began. A hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. I heard about a king who was doing swell. Then he started playing with that evil Jezebel, oh yeah. Ever since the world began. A hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. I got a woman, a head like a rock. If she ever went away, I cry around the clock, oh yeah. Ever since the world began. A hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. Yes, she is. I said a hard-headed woman is a thorn in the side of a man. Oh yeah.
All right. Little Richard tune, right?
That's actually the king, Elvis.
I know, but originally Little Richard? Am I
You know, the truth is that Little Richard must get the credit for writing that music.
He did.
But where did he get it from? He got it from the blues.
Oh, absolutely.
Little Richard, the inventor of rock and roll, but really it's blues. It's way older than rock and roll. It's blues. And then Elvis, for one of his movies, I think it was King Creole, got the words to that song from some other writers. Actually, yeah, it was Claude and Demetrius who wrote the words to that.
Great.
Actually, it's from the Bible. From the Bible.
That's right. That's right.
From the Bible.
From the Bible. Rabbi Doug in the Bible. We know. Listen, I wanted to ask you. You know, you've played in front of a number of celebrities and famous people. Can you tell us just a few stories about who you've played in front of and how you ended up with them, or played with and ended up with them? I know some great musicians, some celebrities, and so on.
Well, I was playing at a banquet downtown at the at one of the great hotels here in Chicago, and the guest speaker was a governor, and he started talking and talking and talking, and it was, you know, I usually don't listen to politicians talk, but he really was determined to get his message across to the people. And about 3/4 of the way through the talk, I started listening to him. Still didn't make any sense, but he did have something to say to the people. It was Mr. Clinton.
Oh, the governor of Arkansas.
And so we played Arkansas Traveler for him, and that was before he became president, and we were all amazed. But when he did become president, I remember that he really, really was trying, like determined, to convince everybody of his spiel, shall I say, of his story. And it worked.
Very nice.
That's
very nice.
one person.
Who else? Who else?
Well, I was in Israel for many years, and I played in a band there called Diaspora Yeshiva Band.
Oh, I know that.
And that was well known in the Jewish community. One time we got a job playing for the Mossad. So they took us, I think they...
Mossad is the Israeli Secret Service.
Yeah, the CIA of Israel. And they blindfolded us, and they took us to a place where we weren't supposed to, it was secret. And we get there, and it's a banquet dinner for the outgoing CIA head, who we didn't know who it was. And they were bringing in the new guy, who we didn't know who it was. But there were, the Prime Minister was there, and...
Who was the Prime Minister at that time?
You know, I'm not sure
Remember
if it was
what year it
Shamir. I think it was Shamir, but Yitzhak Rabin was there, and Arik Sharon was there, and many, many big-time people were there, and we were playing for them.
Very nice.
And they liked it.
What famous musicians have you been around and played with? Or on the same bill as?
Well, I always got to give credit to when I was growing up. I met some of the greats in New York, some of the Duke Ellington Orchestra people, and I studied with a great classical composer named John Cage. But recently I've been playing with blues musicians who are amongst the greatest of history, such as the recently Junior Wells. He died.
Just passed away. Just on one of our last shows, I talked about the passing away of Junior Wells and how I saw Buddy Guy and Junior Wells when I was just a teenager, maybe 19 years old, at the Checkerboard on the South Side.
I played
with my friend Steve Harvey, who you know well.
Right. I played at the Checkerboard with Dave Myers, who was in Little Walter's original band, and he played with Willie Dixon and Junior Wells, and I played at the funeral of Willie Dixon. Willie Dixon, he wrote Spoonful and Little Red Rooster and some of the classic great songs of the blues, and they were influential on all the famous bands, Beatles, Rolling Stones. So these are some of the musicians I've been playing with. Speaking of the Rolling Stones, Sugar Blue plays with
He's a harmonica player many times.
I play with him.
The Some Girls album, I know for sure he played harmonica and a number of other different things.
Yep. That's it. Na, 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 na. That's him on the harmonica. And I played with him and the local blues greats who happen to be the greatest in history, I believe, of blues.
And rock and roll people? What rock and roll people have you been on the same bill as or played with?
Oh, we did a tour of Europe and the United States, and during the tour we crossed paths with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and when they were in Israel, actually, they were the backup band of Bob Dylan. Now, when they were there, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, the crew, which was MTV, wanted to get some of the local rock bands involved, so they called us. So we were on the MTV video with Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and Roger McGuinn from the Byrds.
Oh, how great.
And that was kind of exciting.
Well, what else do you have for us today on guitar, my friend?
Well, I do old-time Hasidic music, too.
Oh, great.
And, the founder of Hasidism was the Baal Shem Tov. And
300th anniversary coming up, I believe.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I
of Baal Shem
believe it.
Tov.
I believe it. And, he was the kind of person that always wanted to cheer people up and make people happy, because you can't be successful at anything you do unless you have happiness. And we try to encourage people, cheer up and have optimism, have faith. And now when times were really tough and people were poverty-stricken, the Mittler Rebbe, who was I think it was the second Lubavitcher Rebbe, students of the Baal Shem Tov, one of their students wrote this song, and the words are in Russian, but they mean, "Don't worry, fellows, about what will become of us. We'll just travel on ahead to an inn, and over there will surely be vodka." But the meaning is the meaning. We're not trying to encourage excessive substance abuse here. We're trying to discourage that. But what they're saying is, we will drink from the well of Torah, and we will see the great righteous rabbi, and he will teach us words of wisdom and Hasidism and Torah. And with that, we will have everything that we need in the world.
Great.
Okay?
Please do.
By the way, we want all of you to sing and dance at home.
Just beautiful. Great. Thank you. Great. I love Hasidic music. That is great. You know, I've heard Lubavitchers actually sing that niggin before. I never heard the song and the words, but I've heard that yum ba 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 ba. I've heard that niggin before.
It's a well-known
tune.
Lubavitchman.
Oh, great. I just got to tell you, this has been just an absolute pleasure having you on the show today, Ruby. I do hope you will come back to us another time.
Be happy to.
Just your music is just fantastic, and it's so versatile that there's so much more that I wish we had time for today. But
you'll have to come. Like, I play a lot of weddings and
well, I've seen you at a lot of weddings, and that's how I knew how versatile you were, actually, because of all the weddings and bar mitzvahs that I've been at that I've seen you play. All of a sudden, you've got a different instrument in your hand, and you're playing another song and another style. And
well, we always get calls from different people in different situations. It can be young people, it could be old people, it could be any ethnic group. It could be Italian, Greek, Jewish, black, white, yellow, green, any kind of music. A lot of people, of course, for dinner music like Gershwin, Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, and then dance music. We can go into rock. We could just go into oldies, or we could do, if they want, Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, or any of the new stuff. So we put on a CD. But
fantastic.
Because the kids don't want a wedding band to play Nirvana music.
I love your type of music. I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of you again for watching us here on Taped with Rabbi Doug and with Ruby Harris today. And Ruby, if you'll just take us out with a song, a little tune as we end today, I want to say shalom to everyone and hope to see you next time on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Love